Order, please. At this time, I'd ask Mr. Jamie White to lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Our Father, our God, our Creator, and our Sustainer, we just thank you for this time that we're together. We ask that you would just guide us during this county council meeting. We know that everyone here, whether they're councilmen, members of the community, or others with interest, have a concern or love for Allendale County. We ask that you would just continue to bless us in everything that we do. These blessings and all others, we ask in your holy and righteous name. Amen.
Amen. Declaration of a quorum. We do have everybody present except for Mr. Bill Robinson. Can I get approval of the agenda? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
Mr. Chair, but I wait till you get to the minutes because I wait till you get there.
All right. Can I get a motion for approval of the minutes?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Since we don't have in our package February the 2nd or February the 13th, that I ask that they be removed from the approval.
Okay.
Because they're not in our package.
All right. You make notation of that, Mr. Chief? All right. So we're going to approve all the minutes except for the February 2nd, February 13th. Is that a motion?
And one other thing I want to say.
Okay.
You asked that I got with, go back with YouTube and see what was in the minutes for December 20th. And that minutes has not been corrected. I just want to make notation of that. I requested that what I stated in December minutes is not corrected. So I just want to make notation of that as well. The correction has not been made, but you can go ahead and, if you want to put them on the floor for exception, it's fine. I just want to make sure that, for the records, that it was not, no changes made with those minutes that I stated.
All right. Can you get a motion to approve the following minutes? The remaining minutes? December 5th, January 12th, January 19th, January 24th, and February 28th.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion? Can I get a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to welcome everybody out. It's good to see a big crowd. Hopefully, I'm not going to jump on us too bad, but hope it's good. Hopefully, y'all here for good news. So, anyway, good to see a good crowd. At this time, we'll jump into public comments. Is this all we have this morning? Van?
So I get my 3 minutes. I got 3 different subjects to talk about.
Okay.
I'll try to be brief though. First of all, it's cleanup time again. We have our big cleanup for the spring, March 24th and 25th. And we hope everyone here will participate. I've got these flyers here. And the supplies will be at the town hall Friday and Saturday from 8:30 to 12. And if you need them before then, they'll be at Kearse Law Firm, because you can't pick up before. But I need to know if you're going to do it the way you're going to do it so we can kind of coordinate where people are picking up. So I think we're doing a great job. Our county's cleaner than any other county around us, if you look. It's doing good. And we also have been officially made an affiliate of Keep America Beautiful. So that was as of last month. I'm very proud to have gotten that done. So that opens the door for us to get grants, and we've just gotten our organizing grant. It gives us a little money to work with, and we also got a cigarette butt grant that we will be putting containers around to collect cigarette butts. So if you have a site that people tend to put cigarettes out in, let us know, and we'll put a thing there for people to put them in. So that's on beautification. The second thing is our Historical Society. I have the membership applications for 2023. I urge all of you to join us. We're really working hard to include everybody in the history. Our annual meeting last month was great. It featured 7 African-American ladies who had done significant things in this community. And I'm sorry if you didn't get to see it, because it was really a wonderful program. But I urge all you to join. It's not expensive. An individual can join for $20. So I do urge you to join. And I have an annual report, and I'll give you all a membership application too. I would like for the county to join also. So we all pass those. And while I'm doing this, y'all had approved our South Carolina 250 committee, and we have met. We've got some really great people. We have a couple from Georgia working with us even. And they brought us some good research that they had. And we've got the first grant to submit just as soon as Mr. Rick gives us the information we need from the county. So that's moving along. That's going to allow a lot of, they have a lot of money that they can spend finding Revolutionary War sites and identifying them and putting markers and putting pull-offs and all kinds of things that the legislature has given them. So I hope that we can take advantage of what they can do for us. So, any questions?
Anybody got any questions? No. Thank you very much for all you do, Ms. Ann. Now, this time we go to our visitors, Mr. Larry Gooden from Allendale County Hospital.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Appreciate on behalf of the Board of Trustees at Allendale County Hospital a little time for me tonight. I've met with Matthew Conley a couple weeks ago, and I think he's relayed some of the information to you guys, but I just want to try to reiterate what we're trying to do at the hospital and some issues we're having so that you guys know where we're going. First, let me say, I'm not here to ask directly for money. I know I asked Matthew for money when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, and he said, yeah, look. So I know I'm not going to get any money. Now, we'll take donations if anybody wants to give some money, but I'm not here specifically for that. You know, we are, as you guys know, we're considered a dual status hospital. So we are a county hospital, but we're also a nonprofit hospital. And what that means is that the county, you guys, own the facilities and the property that we operate. We actually then operate the hospital through our Board of Trustees, which you guys appoint. And so because the property is owned by you guys, I feel like we need to kind of talk about where we stand with some of our property. As you guys know, we're in a 75-year-old hospital facility. I would venture to say it's probably one of the oldest facilities that we're operating in the county. I may be wrong, but we are, we're old. Nursing home is an older facility as well. For that reason, we have a lot of infrastructure issues. And that's what I wanted to specifically talk about here tonight. With an old facility comes old plumbing and old electrical and old roof and all of that stuff. So, over the course of, I've been there for 9 years now. Over the course of the last 9 years, we have tried our best to upgrade as best we can some of the infrastructure issues. But it's gotten to the point now where it's almost a burden financially for us to do so. And so we are trying to find ways to finance some of that. Years ago, some of you guys probably remember we came to county council, we needed a new roof on the building. This was probably 2 years after I was there. We replaced the whole roof. You guys advanced our county funding, and then we paid it back the next year. We didn't get the funding next year, so we basically got a zero interest loan for 1 year from you guys. And I'm not asking for that or anything else. What I'm asking for is just some help in helping us try to fix some of the stuff that we've got at the hospital. And I'm not coming because the hospital's doing poorly financially. We are doing well financially. We do have some reserves. They are operation reserves, and I do not feel like I would be prudent in running the hospital if I took all of our operating reserves and I upgraded the infrastructure and didn't have any money in the bank to take care of operations when we need it. So that's why I'm here. The main issues we're having right now are plumbing issues. I have spent probably over $100,000 in the last month or 6 weeks on just getting plumbing functional. We've got upgrades. We have all cast iron pipe at both the hospital and the nursing home. Cast iron pipe that has deteriorated over the years. It has fallen apart, paper thin in places. So we've had to go in and replace some of that. Some of that is underground, which means you have to run all new plumbing lines. That's the biggest issue we have right now. Now that's on the hospital side. On the nursing home side, we also have cast iron pipe. But unfortunately, unlike the hospital where it's in crawl space where we can actually work on it, it's underneath concrete slab. So when pipe collapses underneath concrete slab, then you got a real major issue. So we are probably, if we're looking at upgrading the plumbing infrastructure for both facilities, I mean, we're probably $500,000 to $700,000 to do it. is probably what we're looking at. And then again, I'm not here asking you guys to write us a check. What I want to do, and I think you've already started the process, talk to Matthew, you guys have helped us try to work with maybe at state level and federal level to try to figure out what we can do about that. I know there's some loan support. We can go out and get loans. You know, I really am trying to avoid loans on the hospital side, as we don't want to accrue a bunch of debt. You know, we've got to at some point talk about what happens having a hospital moving forward in Allendale County. How do we operate in this facility? What do we do? And I don't even want to get into that conversation tonight, but I think at some point we have to look at that. I think, you know, in 2016, you know, some of the things that we've done over the course of the last 10 years or so, 2016, Barnwell Hospital closed, as you guys know. We became a regional hospital by default. We started seeing a lot of patients from Barnwell County. In fact, you know, at one point when we were looking at stats, 22 or 23% of our ER patients come from Barnwell County. So we see a lot of patients from the Barnwell County area. And even when they open the ER back up, we're still seeing a lot of patients from Barnwell County. So we serve a wider group than just Allendale County. Now, Allendale County is what we are here to take care of ultimately, because we're in Allendale County and that's where we've been. I've lived in Allendale County for 25 years and I plan to be here for a long time. So my goal is to make sure we have a hospital moving forward. You know, and for me to do that, we're going to have to work on the infrastructure at the hospital for us to be able to be here long term. You know, we've done a lot of things over the past few years to try to bring new services and upgrade what we're doing as far as services go at the hospital. I hope you guys have seen that. We're trying to keep our quality as best we can. You know, you guys have probably seen, I mean, we've won some awards. I think in 2021, you know, we were named the top 20 critical access hospital in the country for quality, and that's a huge accomplishment. There are 1,300 critical access hospitals in the nation. So we're one of 20 that got that award in the country. So we are trying our best to you know, make sure that we take good care of folks there at the hospital. What I'm asking for is just some help in helping us do that. So proud of what we do. We want to make sure that we continue to do that. Need the support of you guys, need the support of the community. And so if you have any ideas about funding, again, you know, I'm not asking for direct funding. I'm just asking for you guys to help support us when we do go out and try to find some funding. So, and I'll be happy to answer any questions about the hospital if you have them.
Anybody have any questions? I will say that I think collectively as this council, we are full support of the hospital. We understand and appreciate the importance of it. And during our retreat, we did all compose a letter to all the national, federal and state delegation, and those letters have been sent. Good. And we've actually received some feedback from some of them. So good. We will reach back out to them and follow up and see if we can get any help. Okay. In the meantime, if there's anything else you can think of that we can do, please let us know. I think we're all on the same page on this for sure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right. Thank you. And congratulations. I know you just received another award for Rural Health Provider of the Year. So
we did. Thank you.
Congratulations to you and your staff.
Appreciate that.
All right. Time for council reports. I'll go first. I'll try to be brief. We'll have a law enforcement consolidation meeting on March 27th. The Brant building is booked, so is everybody in agreement with having it here in council chambers? Law enforcement consolidation, go through that instead?
Yeah, it's fine with me. Have you sent out letters to the committee, Mr. Conley?
No, I wanted to make sure we had a date, but I'm gonna send an email in the morning.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. And obviously I hope everybody's aware of.
Matthew.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm the one that has the building that night. If you would rather have the Brant building, I can meet in another place.
Well, we don't want to
You'd
take.
rather. But it's just, the keep Allendale beautiful, and it's a small group, so we can meet somewhere else.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be fine.
Well, thank you very much. I hope everybody is aware of the big industrial announcement we had this week. 1010 Group, Vietnamese tire company, is coming to Allendale, investing $68 million and bringing 1,031 jobs to Allendale County. So that's very big news. We're very proud of that. I look forward to, I think if we're ever gonna make a change, I think it's now. It's got to be now. Got the jobs. And there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that have to go along with that. You know, we've got to find some housing. I know Dr. Monar and a lot of his team's aware of that, and they're helping us with it, as are some of the guys in Washington. But, you know, if we can keep some of these workers in the county, obviously that's going to be the best thing for us to grow. I know during our retreat, one of the things that was brought to our attention, I think we knew that we were all declining, but what really hit home, I think in the last 10 years, we decreased from, I think, 11,000 to 7,900 and something. If we stay on the same curve in 2035, we're going to be less than 5,000 people. So if you think we got problems now, it's going to, if we stay on that curve, it's going to really get bad. So we've got to figure out some ways to keep these workers in our county if we're going to move forward. So that's a tough task, I know. But also, Mr. O'Rear and myself, along with SCA and the 7-member region, which consists of Barnwell, Bamberg, Hampton, Allendale, Colleton, Jasper, and Beaufort, all went to Washington, D.C. March the 7th and the 8th as a group. We met with several different federal agencies, Department of Energy, National Nuclear Security Association, Transportation Committee, USDA, to talk about funding and grants available, and obviously with DOE and NNSA about the importance of continuing to receive our PILT payment. And the next day we got to meet with Clyburn, Wilson, Tim Scott, Lindsey Graham, Mace, and Raphael Warnock. He's in Georgia, but he's still got some interest with the Span River site. So we all split up and was able to meet everybody, and I think it was good meetings. We didn't get any promises, but we let them know of our concerns and our wishes. So where that goes from here, we'll see. And on March 9th, we had the Lower Savannah Council of Government Community Needs Assessment meeting. I think we had 15 or 20 people there. I thought it was very well attended and a lot of good ideas brought up on that. So thank Dr. Monar and his crew for that. And getting back to the Tim Tam group announcement, I'd like to thank Tyler. I know you're here. Thank you and your guys for SCA and John Fleming and all the ladies for all the hard work y'all do for Allendale and this whole region. It's very much appreciated. I think that's all I have. See if I'm forgetting something, but Mr. Bill Robinson's not here, so we'll move on to Ms. Taylor.
I attended the Three Rivers Solid Waste meeting on the first of the month, that's that Wednesday, and they wanted to raise the tipping fee from $5 to $6, which it was not passed because everybody was having a tight in the budget, so we decided not to raise the tipping fee for the trash to be for solid waste for Three Rivers on that board. Yes, I would like to mention that I really enjoyed and looking forward to the tanning, 10 whatever, the new company that we get in Allendale.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a very great impact for our community, and everybody will seem to be well pleased, and it was a very nice event. I wish that everybody could have come out to that event because they had very, very, it was a large group, and it seemed like everybody was concerned. So we're asking that, they're saying that people got to have training, so please, when you go online, make sure you try to get training for the jobs if you don't know what type jobs they are. If you're interested, please, please, please. We're trying to get our community to get jobs first. So once you see the job on the website, wherever they get started, if you apply, they're going to train you for the jobs. So there's no reason why some people can't get a job, but we're just trying to bring things in for the community that we can help our people to have a better quality of life. So we ask that y'all please, please, please fill out for these jobs once they come in. I attend the Lower Savannah Board meeting with Mr. Monarch. He's doing a great job with our county. He's helping us out a lot, and we learned a lot from that board that we just had, which very informative. That he does a lot for our community. If you don't know about the COG board, please talk to Mr. Monarch, because he have a lot of services that Aiken does for Allendale County, for our citizens in Allendale County. If you don't know what service is being provided, please talk to him or come to the county administrator or one of us so that we can tell you what all service he have available that can help our people in our community. We thank you, Mr. Monar. And Mr. Chair, what else I have is, I did have this, I want to ask I got the expense report, Mr. O'Reilly, do we have a finance report?
That's on all that. I'll go over that when I get ready.
Okay, would you give your report? Okay. Okay, well, that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Mr. White, if you don't mind, I forgot to mention one thing, if you don't mind. We did have a county council retreat, March 2nd through the 4th. To my understanding, this may be one of the first ones we've had, or first one we've had in a long time. We'll say that everybody was present, all council, Mr. O'Reilly, our attorney. It was a day-and-a-half workshop. We put in a lot of work, had a very good facilitator, and I think we tackled a lot of issues. We made some progress. Initially, the goal was long-term, short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. We had so many short-term stuff, so we didn't get too far out, but we did get a lot of things resolved, I think. And I think the consensus is maybe towards the fall, having another one to really focus on some of the mid and long-term goals. So, sorry, Mr. White.
No. Thank you. So I just wanted to continue with all of the kudos that have been given to the SCA event the other day, the announcement of the 10-TAN group. But I really wanted to bring light. I know we have a lot of members of the fire department here, and Governor McMaster and Senator Huddle were very complimentary of the fire department. I was very proud about that, their organization and also their hospitality that they showed at the event. So I think that's something that our county can definitely be proud of. One of the reports that I have, and I know this is boring, so I apologize, but I'm on the committee of planning and zoning for business services. And I will say that I attended the last county planning and zoning commission meeting, and I'm actually very excited about the trajectory that we're on. We're moving northward with planning and zoning. Mr. Eric Carrier of the Little Savannah Council was there. He provided a template for our 10-year renewal. So we're on the path to getting that 10-year renewal done. And one of the things that does for our county that we hadn't had in the past is the next comprehensive plan is going to introduce transportation, attention to transportation, priority investment, and also resilience. There's been talk about how we respond to natural disasters. So we'll be having a component focusing on a drought, tornadoes, winter storms, flooding, flood maps, evacuation routes, and shelter. So I'm very pleased with the process that we're making with that. I also want to announce that Mr. Carl Murdahl has accepted to be a part of the County Planning and Zoning Commission. He's in my district, the 2nd district. He will now be an appointment from me to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And that's everything I have.
Thank you, Mr. White. Ms. Jennings?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here tonight, and I also would like to applaud our chairman for all that you've done, to make this event successful on this past Tuesday, and you should be applauded. I appreciate everything you've done. I was excited about it. I was able to hold a shovel, my hand. It was, for the first time in my life, I was glad to hold a shovel. But Ms. Taylor, and you did an excellent job with invocations. I appreciate everything that this council has done, to make our county successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And would you applaud them, please? All right, thank you. The first thing that I would like to discuss with you tonight, I placed some flyers on the table out front. If you didn't get one, I have some from the CTC committee. If there's someone here that do not have one, Hattie, would you give it to them, please? Pass them out for me, please. Thank you. Please raise your hand, and Hattie will give you one of these sheets. This is from the CTC committee. This is a list of roads for CTC consideration. And let me add that the roads that you see on this sheet was not selected by the CTC committee. So this is done by the state. Okay, and this sheet was given based on the information that Mr. John Rice and Ms. Herb Cooper gave us. This came from the state. And there's some roads on here that you may have questions about, but these roads were identified many years ago, okay? And it cannot be changed or it cannot be done again. But it was decided by our delegation probably before most of us was born. So I don't know about me, but most of us was born. And so these are the list of roads that are considered to be resurfaced in your communities. Now, if you have, or if you know of any roads that you feel that need to be resurfaced, you can provide that list, although I can't decide and the CTC committee can't decide. You know, the names would have to go to the state and they would make the decision because they have instruments to decide which roads should be resurfaced. So this is the list of the roads that they're looking at resurfacing in our community or in our county. Another thing that the CTC mentioned on last evening, Mr. Chair, is that you need to select someone from your district to serve on this committee. The person that was there resigned.
Okay.
And so you need to select someone for that. The next thing that I would like to discuss is the Office of Aging. The Office of Aging recently received a new 2022 Ford Transit van bus, which cost $77,311. $60,000 of that came from a grant. And they received another vehicle on March the 15th, which was $12,000. So right now they have two vehicles. One of them we used to, well, I saw one of them would be used to transport patients in wheelchairs to their appointments, dialysis, or wherever they have to go. So they did not have a van. I think the transmission went bad in the other van, so they have one now where they can transport patients. And another thing that the Office of Aging is working on is, you know, all of you know we don't have a drugstore. Well, we do have a drugstore at hospitals. Sorry, Mr. Gooding, but anyway, the main drugstore, I would say, closed. We don't have that. So the Office of Aging is working on a plan, and as far as I know, it's not done yet, to transport patients or citizens, let me say citizens, to Allendale County Hospital to get their medicine, or to Barnwell, or to Hampton, or Bamberg to pick up their medicine. I don't think the plan has been completed yet, but they are working on that to see if we can help our citizens get to a location to purchase their medicine. So, and also the Office of Aging is continuously feeding, having a meal site on site, feeding citizens on site, and they're sending meals out to homes, to senior citizens who cannot come. And I think that also for the citizens that would like to come to the center, he's sending the buses out to pick them up, the vans out to pick some of them up. So the Office of Aging is moving. You know, it's a lot still that we can do, but you know, we're moving slowly, you know, getting that done. But the main thing is to serve the senior citizens of Allendale County, and that's what we're attempting to do. But that is okay. That's all for the Office of Aging. The next report I have, sorry, what you get? Sorry, I didn't pass this out. It's on the coroner's office. Right now, in your packet, you will find two pictures. The coroner's office right now, the morgue, it doesn't have any security. It really don't have much of anything. It doesn't have any security lights. You don't have any cameras. Inside the building, inside the office, there's a lot of need for the computer and fax machine. And the reason that that is very important is because the law has changed for child fatality. The law has changed for child fatality now. You have to have the meetings at the coroner's office. At the last child fatality that happened in this county, and I worked with the coroner's office then, you know, we had to run back and forth trying to find a fax machine, and we had to finally end up meeting at DSS office. But the law has changed that you cannot no longer meet any place but at the coroner's office. And so for that reason, you know, it's a must that we have fax machine, we have a computer, we need to have everything there, because if you have a child fatality in the county, you're gonna have agencies coming from all over the state. And you will be up all night, and I have experienced that before, working with the coroner's office. And you have to wait on all these agencies to come from Greenville, Charleston, everywhere, when you have a child fatality. So our coroner's office needs to have whatever is necessary for them to run that office properly. And another thing that's in your packet concerning the coroner's office is that Renique, who is the coroner, has been awarded $14,000 to buy supplies or whatever she needs, which she needs supplies. But the problem here is that they will not send the money because she does not have a coroner's account. They're not going to send it to the general funds. And I have put all this information in your packet. She have to have a coroner's account, Ms. O'Rear.
Okay.
Okay? And then once she get that account, then they will send the $14,000. You have, she also received from the Hampton County Coroner, and what was this for, Mr. O'Rear? From the Hampton County? $2,850.
They had stored a body for Hampton County for over a year, or almost a year, and that was their reimbursement to Allendale County for that.
Okay, so I have a copy of where they sent the money to the county. So we have received that money from Hampton County.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, that is for the coroner's office. One thing I think. We have made some progress on dirt roads. As I mentioned in our last meeting that Allendale County had, based on the information that I received from Mr. Reverend Reverend Moe, and from Mr. All, from the works that Allendale County has over 900 miles of dirt roads, and we have one motor grader to scrape those roads, and at that time we had one driver to scrape the roads. I have spoken to our chairman about looking into hiring an experienced person to help out with those dirt roads, and he's familiar with that person. I've spoken to the county council members, and at the CTC meeting, Mr. O'Rear, our administrator, said that he was checking into companies where we could lease a motor grader and a little buying one. A motor grader would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, in which we don't have. And so Mr. O'Rear said he's checking to see if we could lease a motor grader. In the meeting that we had at the Brandt building last week that the chairman was speaking about, it was mentioned at that meeting that we only just have one motor grader, we have one backhoe, you know, and some other machines that was mentioned, it was just one that Allendale County had. But we want to start with the motor grader first, because it's important that we scrape those dirt roads because of the ordinance that was passed by this county in 2007, that every vehicle in the county, or every person that owned a vehicle in the county, had to pay a user fee tax. At that time, I believe it was like $60-something, and now it's $30, I believe it's 75 cents. And so the citizens, we promised the citizens that we were going to scrape their roads if they paid that fee. We promised that. And so we're gonna have to live up to our promise. And I'm asking that, you know, the council would consider, I don't know if I have to make a motion or whatever, but consider hiring someone to help out and train citizens to scrape those roads. So, Mr. Chairman, you let me know whether or not what I have to do.
Yeah, I think it's just an administrative problem. I don't think we need to really make a motion on that, do we? On hiring the
It's
part-time.
at the pleasure of the council.
But don't we have someone that scrapes the road that know how to drive the motor grader? Now I'm currently working for the Public Works.
I don't know, Mr. All would have to answer that question for you.
Okay.
Okay.
They did have 2 people, actually they have 3. 2 were out and just came back to work this week. So
I'll reach out to Mr. All, if that's okay with you, and see if that's still needed. And if it is, then we'll address it. If not, then take his
Okay.
recommendation, if that's okay.
Okay. Also included in your packet, and I put it in your packet for information from Parks and Recreation. It's just for information. And these are the events that will be happening this month in Parks and Recreation. I think the big thing they've had is a movie night for family movie night that they've had added to March, to the March events, but that is it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Jennings. This time, County Administrator Report, Mr. Bert O'Rear.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I wanted to talk about, a few weeks ago, our HR person and I met with a company called Pierce Group to take over handling our employee benefits, meeting with each individual employee to discuss the different types of programs that are out there. The good thing about this was with Pierce Group is that this is a free service to the county and to the employees. And they will actually meet with each employee to discuss their health and life insurance benefits that they currently have and possibilities of that they may want to apply for in the future. Also, for individuals who are like diabetic or on special types of drugs, because we do participate in PIPA insurance, I wasn't aware of this, and I'm diabetic. There is actually medications out there that I'm paying for, full price for, that I could be getting at a huge discount or even free. And they're willing to meet with those employees to determine those medications so that they can get them on that either low cost or free medication. Also, you have with you in your packet that I handed out earlier an expense report. I know it's kind of overwhelming to look at it because it's overwhelming for just even me. However, if you look at the expense categories, each month the whole county has about 8.33% of their budget that they can spend on expenses. If you look at it and you calculate the percentages right now, we should be at about 75% overall of our total budgeted dollars for expenses. The county right now is at 77% of our budget dollars for expenses. So we're really close. So as far as our expenses are concerned, and this, of course, you know, this is based on the 2022 budget, not the 2023 budget. This was a carryover. Based on those amounts, we're at 77% of those budgeted dollars. And those numbers that are listed on the budget are actually lower than what they probably should be for the 2023 budget. Also want to announce that today our deputy administrator, chief financial officer, started with the county, which I'm ecstatic about. She comes to us with over 20+ years of experience and working in county government as a CFO. And so we met most of the day today talking about budget, expense reports, the previous audit, the current audit that we're undergoing, and had a lot of discussions on those matters. I did have a preliminary budget set, but after we went over it, she wants her couple of days to look over that as well, and then we'll be calling you guys and asking you to call a special meeting to have a budget workshop, possibly next week. The other thing is we've also applied for a Narcan grant, which Mr. Moorhead will talk about in a few minutes. It is for a $2 million grant for our firefighters and EMS, which would provide them $500,000 per year for the next 4 years to be able to carry and get training on how to administer Narcan for drug overdoses on the fire trucks as well as EMS vehicles. I wanted to speak briefly on when we went to DC. My representative that I got to meet with was Representative Clyburn, and we had a very detailed conversation. And I had mentioned this concern of mine to him back when he was here, when I met him at the Democratic headquarters here in Allendale County. And he had promised me that he would talk to me further about it, and so we actually got an opportunity to talk about it in detail in our meeting in DC. My concern is that last year, towns, and I know the town of Allendale applied for SIP grants, which I think you applied for about $10 million for water and sewage infrastructure. The problem is that fortunately the town was aware that those grants were out there, and they worked diligently to get that stuff applied for before the deadlines. Have you heard whether or not you?
The announcement should probably.
So I think it's sometime this month. Yeah. Well, my concern, I also applied for that when I was at the town of Oler as the administrator there, and we received a $500,000. Well, in September we received a $500,000 grant. There have been about $800 million left over that's available for those individuals or those agencies that applied for grants on those 2 deadlines. And if you did not apply during those 2 deadlines, you're excluded from any of those $800 million that's left over. When I talked to Representative Clyburn about that and how I was concerned that some of the smaller counties and communities weren't aware of the fact that they could put in for that, either because their administrator didn't make them aware of it, or of the fact that they didn't have the help like the town of Allendale did with the engineering company that they had to help do the background for all this money, that now you're excluded, and he was not too happy with that. So those are federal funds. So I just want to let you know he's in the process of freeing up that money for those counties and municipalities and special purpose districts that were not able to apply for those grants, so that we could. And of course, like the town of Allendale that did put in for it, they can put in for any of those $800 million that's left over. And they are going to be releasing some more funds in the future through this infrastructure bill that they're going to allow us to apply for. I think that's about it. I'm going to waive the rest of my report to Mr. Moorhead, who has a presentation to make. And then I would like to ask if the council would consider going to executive session for a couple of minutes to discuss a personnel matter.
Do you want me to?
Yeah. Yours.
evening, everyone. I introduced myself once before, but for those of you that do not know me, my name is Marshall Moorhead, and I'm the Director of Public Safety here in Allendale County. And I would like to take this opportunity, thanks to council to give me another opportunity to come back and do this with the personnel here, but to thank our emergency personnel, first responders, for a particular incident. And I'm going to ask my firefighters to come in as well. Firefighters, everybody. Please. I promised I wouldn't embarrass anybody, but y'all just file in for me, please. All right, I know it's tight with everybody in here. I thank everybody for coming tonight. On the night of January the 20th, 23, on Highway 300, just inside of Barnwell County, an off-duty Allendale County firefighter responded to a multiple vehicle collision. This set into motion Allendale County emergency response personnel from multiple departments. Allendale County E911 dispatch, coordinated fire department, emergency medical service, and law enforcement, as well as establishing landing zones for patients to be airlifted to medical facilities. Both Allendale and Barnwell emergency units work together seamlessly to provide life and scene safety. This is the first major incident in the short time that I have joined, since the short time I have joined Allendale as Director of Public Safety. It's a time that I've been able to see the passion and the commitment of all of our emergency response personnel. In this extraordinary event, where they have shown that they are ready to respond no matter the when or the where. In my 22 years as a first responder in a combination of fire, law enforcement, and EMS, I've learned that there are very few emergency personnel that do what they do for any type of fame, and definitely not fortune. And most of the responders that you'll see in this room right now are probably uncomfortable at being recognized for this, but I do believe that when something is done right, it needs to be recognized. And for most of the time, when I talk to law enforcement, fire, emergency responders, they'll say something along the lines of, if I don't do it, then who will? And that reminds me of one of my favorite phrases that I use all the time. It's often attributed to Edmund Burke, which is, the only thing necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to stand by and do nothing. And I know that Allendale is a better and a safer place because of the women and the men that are first responders here in this county. And I thank y'all for that, and I think this is something that I know that the county appreciates you already, but I just want you to know that we from the administration and the council appreciate you as well. We've had some plaques made up here locally, and what it says is ready to respond no matter the when or the where. It's for conducting yourselves in a skilled and proficient manner in an extraordinary situation. Thank you for your dedication and for the safety of this county and its citizens. If I could get Allendale EMS to step up here for me, please. Everybody, please. I know you don't want to come up here. I know it's embarrassing. I definitely need you, sir. And I'm going to step out of the frame because this is for y'all.
Maybe you was on it. You was on it.
And I'm glad you said that, Lish. This is incident specific. This is the first thing that's happened since I've been here as public director. But this is meant to be a thank you and appreciation for everything that the departments have done, just in general thank you and appreciation. But that one event is what set it into motion. So I'm going to put this back in here and y'all can take it back. With you, sir. Dispatch. I know that y'all are often overlooked because you are sitting somewhere else. You're not on scene per se physically, but like I was talking with Miss Jody, who is the head of 911, and she's not here tonight, probably because she's covering a console, so y'all can be here. I figured that. Which from my short period of time working with her, just that fits. I can absolutely see that. But we were talking, trying to hire some more dispatchers the other day, and I told her it's one of the things I've always felt about dispatch. Dispatch is a linchpin that, a linchpin is something that connects two pieces of equipment. And without that one pin to hold them together, then all the rest of the equipment falls apart. And, but it's, once again, often overlooked, but nonetheless, very important. Thank you, dispatch.
It's your decision.
Thank you all very much. Allendale County Fire Department. I've mentioned and commented several times to Chief Franklin that in a day and time where volunteer response is down 21% nationwide, there have been several calls in the middle of the day where we've had 15 and 20 volunteers respond along with our full-time personnel, and that speaks volumes to their commitment to the protection of this county. And I thank y'all.
Another picture. She wants to do one more.
Marshall,
Yes, sir.
thank you. You've been a big help to the county since you came here. Mr. Burke, thank you. Council, we appreciate everything y'all do for us. Obviously, we don't have everything we'd like to have, but you give us what you can afford to give us, and we appreciate that. To all of you, thank you for what you do, and y'all know I always say that. You're dedicated folks, and I appreciate it. The citizens are lucky to have a group of people like you. Y'all make my job easy, so thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank all of you for coming out. This time, County Attorney Report, Mr. Sanders.
I just have a very short one. In your package, which y'all got on your agenda later, is a resolution and an intergovernmental agreement concerning the Department of Energy DOE's fee in lieu of taxes. And this is the same amount that they've been given for years.
Okay.
And they've requested we send that to them so they can disperse the $89,508, to the county for the fee in lieu of taxes for 2022.
All right.
And that's it. I have something for executive session.
Okay. You wanted to go into executive session now, or you want to get these resolutions behind us or what?
Yeah, let's just do the
All right, we
resolution.
got, I don't think we have anything under old business, under new business. We've got 4 resolutions. Resolution A, supporting law enforcement consolidation in Allendale County. I will read it and then we'll. Whereas the population of Allendale County has been declining, having a population of 11,211 in 2000, according to the 2000 decennial census, a population of 10,949 in 2010, and a population of 8,039 in 2020. Whereas a task force has been organized to study law enforcement consolidation in Allendale County and determine if the county and municipalities in the county want to move forward with consolidation. And whereas there are different forms, methods of consolidation, and whereas the type of consolidation selected depends on the needs, expectations, and degree of cooperation among the jurisdictions. And whereas the challenge of consolidation will be the strategic allocation of resources to develop the most efficient and effective way of protecting and providing needed services to the citizens of Allendale County. And whereas the potential advantages of consolidation of law enforcement in Allendale County are cost benefits, which include a reduction in infrastructure and maintenance costs and equipment costs, addressing personnel shortages and personnel opportunities, providing an expanded scope of services, and bringing consistency and efficiency to law enforcement efforts in Allendale County. Now therefore be resolved, the Allendale County Council does hereby support and endorse and does declare its willingness to assist in taking steps to plan, organize, and implement law enforcement consolidation in Allendale County. And just to be clear, we support consolidation, and it's up to the task force and the municipalities and the people that are involved to decide if they want to move forward and which method they choose to move forward. We're just saying as one group, one people, that we do support that effort. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? I think that's what we all agree on. Is that right? That's good. Can I get a motion to accept this resolution?
I move.
Got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to support law enforcement consolidation resolution. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 2, we have
We
the,
didn't have to do the one for the, excuse me, Mr. Chair, for the DOE?
yes,
Okay, you did, that was first, you didn't. For the 89,000?
yeah, mine's got law enforcement first.
Okay, no, no, that's the one that.
Oh, it was in the packet first?
No, sir, that's the one Mr. Sanders was talking about first.
Yeah,
We didn't vote on it.
right. We will have to do them individually.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
Then we have a resolution for intergovernmental agreement on the PIP payment. We need to go through all this. It's the same thing every year. Everybody good with accepting it as is?
Yes, sir.
Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to accept the resolution to, intergovernmental agreement in regards to the U.S. Department of Energy payment in lieu of taxes for the 2022 tax year. Got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have a resolution, whereas Allendale County desires that all its citizens be afforded the opportunity to attain a decent, safe, and sound living environment, and whereas Allendale County rejects discrimination on the basis of race, religion, color, sex, national origin, disability, and/or familial status in the sale, rental, or provision of other housing services. And whereas the state of South Carolina enacted the South Carolina Fair Housing Law in 1989, and whereas April is recognized nationally as Fair Housing Month, now therefore be resolved, the Allendale County Council does hereby to designate April 2023 as Fair Housing Month. Can I get a motion to accept that resolution?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
You just want to clarify, I think this is through the call. Is that correct? Los Savannah Council of Government?
Yes.
Okay, this one literally.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, let's see where we at. Yeah, basically, it's, the title of it's a resolution authorizing an amendment to the amended and restated master agreement for the establishment of the Quad County Industrial Park 1, Park 2, and Park 3 to include additional property of the park. If everybody's okay with not going through every word, basically it says that Bamberg is going to add acreage to the Quad Park and that we accept that.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Session?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we allow EMS to hire one more employee,
EMS.
on the EMS. Full-time, thank you.
So we're allowing them to go from a staff of 9 to a staff of 10, correct?
That's right, yes, sir.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
So we're, motion to authorize EMS to go from staff of 9 to 10 full-time employees. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Any motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's yours.
Is it?
Miss